Hi everybody, Linda here with Erica Michaels, and I'm here to do another show and tell of some of my models that I still have here around the house. This time, since we're coming up on the 4th of July holiday weekend here, I'm going to show you my Americana projects. But before I start showing models, I just want to let you know that the proceeds, or a portion of the proceeds, for any of the Americana models goes to an organization called TADSAW. It's an acronym for Train a Dog, Save a Warrior. It's an organization that provides funds for training service dogs to veterans and other military, and they many times also rescue dogs from shelters. So it's really kind of a win-win, and I've been doing this for several years now, and about twice a year around Memorial Day and then Veterans Day, I make a donation based on the sales. So a lot of that is thanks to you all. So let's get started. First, one of my early Americana designs on silk gauze is America. Very straightforward, clean lines. The row of stars, just some nice borders, and the eagle. This one would be pretty easily translated to your favorite fabric if you choose not to use the silk gauze. So it's just simply called America. Okay, next let's do a little guy. 1776. Just a little tiny piece. And this one was a lot of fun for me to design because it gave me the opportunity to have some fun with the backgrounds. If you'll look behind each numeral, the background is a little bit different. And it's got a lot of punch and impact, visual impact there. So that one is simply called 1776. Next, let's do Grand Old Flag. Isn't that frame wonderful? Just the perfect fit for this. Again, a very simple design. Just stars and stripes and a phrase. Also easily translated to fabric. And if you have a lighter neutral, you could even leave the white stripes and the stars unstitched for kind of a negative effect on your fabric. Completely up to you. So it's called Grand Old Flag. Okay, next, let's do Liberty and Justice. This is one of those times where I do two models, and if you've been watching these or following my designing for a while, you know that it's sometimes hard for me to stop with just one thing when I have a design going. This is Liberty and Justice, and I just wanted to pull some words that spoke to me about the holiday in our country. So we have American, independence, liberty and justice for all. It says freedom, 1776. And then there's some fun little motifs, a little skinny flag, there's an eagle, and there's some bunting across the bottom of the design. Okay, so this is the piece on silk gauze. Obviously, you could also do this on your favorite fabric. Now, as I said, I can't just always stop, so I did a little outtake. This is the portion of the larger design that says Liberty and Justice for All. Still has the eagle. There's a little flag over there on one side, and it's stitched on, I believe this is 36 count, Confederate gray maybe. So it's like a pin cushion. And I made these little pins. I'll take one out here so I can show you. Do you see how that looks like a typewriter key, an old-fashioned typewriter key? You can buy in the craft stores little charm sets, type charms they maybe are called, and they are intended to look like typewriter keys. They come with some stickers with the different letters of the alphabet, the little metal charm piece, and then they come with a little piece of plastic something that's got a little bit of a curved surface, and it's sticky on one side. And you put it on there, and it creates that dimensional typewriter key look. what we did is we used, I believe, some epoxy and glued that charm to one side of a flat flower pen. Okay. And then on the back side, once that was set, I took a little piece of wool, cut a circle, some fuzzies, and finished off that back raw side. So they were pretty simple. There was a little bit of time involved because of the setting of the epoxy, but I think they make great looking pins. So this, Liberty and Justice. Okay. Next, let's do owe them all. I found this phrase, we don't know them all, but we owe them all. And I thought, well, this just has to be translated for me into cross stitch or silk gauze, as it were. So here's just another simple flag with a star motif and the words. Now, if you look closely, can you see the white stripes are done in satin stitches? And it just adds some pretty texture. Even though this is on 40 count gauze, it really adds some pretty texture to the overall design and keeps it, for me anyway, for being just a little too plain. Although obviously, if you don't want to do the satin stitches, you can just fill in just with regular stitches. Okay. So this is called Owe Them All. Okay. Now moving on, I have another one that's called Out of Many. One out of many, I should say. And this is based on the official seal of the United States. And the E pluribus unum is Latin, roughly translating out of many, one. So in other words, all of us, one. And so what I did here is I did my version of the seal with the eagle, and there's lots of other symbolism in here. The red, white, and blue in our flag symbolizes some things. The red symbolizes courage and hardiness, the white, purity and innocence, and the blue symbolizes vigilance and justice. So there's a heart and a dove and a little set of scales, little tiny motifs to echo those meanings. The other thing that I've done in here, these star motifs that go across and down a little ways, there's 13 of those representing the initial 13 states, 1776. So there's just kind of a lot going on in just a little small space here. So out of many, one. Okay. Lastly, I have one that's called Thanks to the Brave. And some of you have perhaps seen this phrase, home of the free, thanks to the brave. And so it's just a wordplay design with some positive, negative types of things going on. Very simple, straightforward. And here's another one where I couldn't stop with just one. So also in this chart pack is a slightly revised, and this is stitched on linen, so you can see how you might translate. It just doesn't have all that background stitching in those red and blue colors, but you still get the same effect. And this one's tweaked a little bit so that if you have a military or veteran in your family, you could personalize it a bit if you like. This one has his dog, and then down at the bottom are just some letters and numerals, but this is a good place if you would want to personalize it for someone close to you. So both of these pieces in the same chart pack, called Thanks to the Brave. Okay, that does it. Like I said, there are a few other patriotic Americana designs that are still available, but I don't have the models anymore. But if you go to my website, You'll be able to see that when you go to that Tadsaw page. You'll be able to see all of the designs that when I get a sale on those twice a year, I make a donation based on the proceeds I get from that. So I hope you have, all of you, a wonderful holiday weekend. Be thankful and stay well. Bye now.